What is going on, y'all? Today I have what is possibly currently in the running for being Inflatable of the Year this year. Definitely Halloween Inflatable of the Year for sure. This is the brand new for 2024 Halloween Inflatable 16.5 feet wide and 11.8 feet tall Haunted Tree Archway Inflatable being sold at BJ's exclusively, as you can tell by the tag right there. This was a bit of a surprise. I mean, all of us kind of expected them to get another tree because that's a trend that BJ's has been doing these last few years, is every year getting a new tree. But I was in no way expecting them to get not only a tree archway, but possibly the biggest haunted tree archway they've ever made, Jemmy's ever made, period. Unfortunately, the big takeaway, the big drawback with this one that everyone's kind of upset about is that it is not a light show. However, the ghost down there, it is nowhere really advertised on the website. Obviously, as you can tell, it is advertised on the box. The ghost flashes white, but that's not something we were really expecting because it was never really specified that the ghost is the one with the blinking C7, but all the other characters are just steady bent. As you can see, the cat up there and the bat right there have this really neat classic Halloween design. I love the design of the pumpkins and absolutely love the design of the tree itself. That's something that I'm typically a stickler for with the haunted tree designs, is that, well, with the ones at Lowe's in particular, they always like to slap these stupid characters on them. Like the one this year, the haunted tree itself is neat, but the characters that they slapped on it are pretty crap, honestly, and that's what really instantly takes it away from me, that probably I don't want to get any of the Lowe's trees because they keep slapping all those stupid characters on them. But in this particular case, all of these characters are actually designed pretty well. The ghost down there is the one that I'd say is the most basic for sure. It's just a basic ghost design, but honestly, it's not the end of the world. It's still kind of a neat accent to the inflatable. But as you can see, this one just has the basic airborne inflatable box art, nothing special. There's the side, of course. The BJ's exclusive tag is on the front and the back. As you can see, there's the person compared to it. This archway is absolutely massive from what we've seen. This box is pretty much just the same size as lots of the other kind of bigger size base fan boxes. Has the 2 pull tabs and everything. What I think is so great about this one is that you can use it as an archway, but also it's just such a statement piece that you can just put it in this haunted tree kind of scene and it'll just blend right in. You don't have to use this as an archway. But anyway, there's just the basic rundown of the design itself and everything that the box shows. Let's go ahead and get this guy unboxed. So here it is inflated, and I gotta say, right instantly, this thing does not disappoint. This is huge in person, as to be expected. I mean, it's 16.5 feet wide and 18.8 feet tall. I don't know why they didn't just go with 12 feet tall, but the height, I'm perfectly fine with the height. It's the, it's how wide it is that's really the main focal point here. But one thing that I didn't mention in the opening sequence there was the price. And the price, that's really the star of the show. That is what persuades people, what really persuades people to buy this one. It's the price. So originally, when this one was first unveiled about a month ago, the retail price for this one was $199.99, which is to be expected for an inflatable of this size. But they discounted it down, as BJ's always does, and I was expecting them to discount it maybe down to like $180. That's a typical thing they do, you know, take 10% off down to $180. But they discounted this one $60 off. Now it's $140, which is an absolute steal for this design. So that 100% factors into the price aspect of my rating, and I can't wait to get to that rating part of the video in a minute. As you can see during the day, you can see a little bit. There's a blinking C7 in the ghost there. counting all the C7s here. There should be about 4 in the tree itself. There's one in the cat over there. Should be one in the pumpkin. There's the blinking one in the ghost, obviously. There's one in the bat. And then there should be one in the pumpkin up there as well. I don't think there's any C7s in the arms, which is a little disappointing, but it's fine because I'm going to have other stuff in the display around it that will illuminate the arms much better. I love this cat. I was worried that this cat, when we first saw it, that it was like cheesy and just slapped on. This cat has really grown on me. It is sewn kind of poorly. As you can see, they did double stitching there on the the machine slipped up, didn't sew it right, so they had to go back and sew it again. That's not really, yeah. But this pumpkin down here is huge. Like, this could be sold as its own little cheap fan inflatable, absolutely. Go ahead and walk through. I love the detail on this tree, like the mouth opening of it. As you can see right there, there's a cat on the back. There is no zipper on the back of the head of the tree, which I thought was interesting. They should have done one on the back, but there is 2 zippers, obviously one by the fan right here on this side, and then one on exactly the opposite side right there. So there's no real problem with trying to get to any of the C7s or anything, especially since this one doesn't have a kaleidoscope or anything. It doesn't really need another zipper somewhere else, because with these LED C7s, you shouldn't have to worry about them going bad anytime soon, because the LEDs are supposed to last a lot longer, but we'll see how that turns out. You know, they only started doing that last year. There is a tether attachment on the bottom of the pumpkin there. There's one on the ghost on the other side. There's one on the front and back of this side of the tree. And then obviously the 4 points on the fan legs on the other side. This does have a 125. That's another thing I didn't mention, but I didn't really need to, because that's to be expected. Again, very glad that they went with a 125. Could have gone with an 80. I mean, if At Home picked this one out, you know that they would have gone with an 80. I'm very, very happy with this, with how this turned out. Because another thing with those trees that BJ's likes to sell for these last few years that makes this one different is that they constantly like to, they shove all this animation into it, which I assume that's what Jemmy pitches in the first place, and just BJ's doesn't really take anything off of it. But it has all the kaleidoscopes and animation and everything. But it's actually nice to see a design like this where it doesn't actually need any of that stuff, because the design itself speaks for itself. You know, it's the statement piece. This is a definition of a statement piece. I absolutely love this design. But anyway, that's enough about the actual design itself. Let's go ahead and get the night view. So now that we've taken a really good look at it, let's of course go ahead and rate it. So first things first, design, I gotta say 9 out of 10 right off the bat. This is a great haunted tree archway design. The characters on it, as I keep mentioning over and over again, the characters are not cutesy and kind of slapped on. They accent the inflatable pretty well. I did not mention the creepy cloth, because actually you can't really see it, because the creepy cloth is actually hidden behind the bat over there on that other side. The only side you can really see clearly is this side with the cat. But the creepy cloth is, I'm glad they added it, but it's not really, you know, the main focal point of this design. I think the design itself is great. That's why I give it a 9 out of 10. Then the quality, of course, basic, you know, it has a 125, has the blinking C7 and the ghost. They at least added that. Has good illumination. So, I mean, although it doesn't have any animation or anything, as I mentioned, that's actually, in my mind, that's a good thing. So, honestly, with quality, I gotta go 7 out of 10. There's really no problem with this, with how this one is designed or how they executed it. And then, of course, the last thing here is price. And price, another good, like, solid 9 out of 10. This is a almost perfect price to pay for this one now because it's $140. The 200 price would have been more like, still about like a 6 out of 10, but 6 or 7 out of 10 because it's a basic price. It's not really jacked up. You know, 300 for this one would have been way too overpriced, but 200 is a pretty fair price off the bat. But then they discounted down to 140, which you can still go buy it for right now. And 140 is a perfect price to pay for this. I have no complaints about the price. So obviously I got to say 9 out of 10 for price. Overall, I got to say a solid 9 out of 10 overall for this design in general. I mean, it's another one that not many people have many complaints about. I certainly have almost no complaints about. Seems to be made right. You know, there's not really any split seams or anything major defects or anything on it that I've seen so far. But overall, I gotta say 9 out of 10. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this is a candidate for Inflatable of the Year for me, for sure. That at least it is 100% as of now the #1 Halloween inflatable. I don't know, I still have a few more I still plan on getting that might top this one out, but I highly doubt it. But the only one that I'd say compares to this one so far from this year is the Beetlejuice Archway, another Archway, which the one thing that this one has over, well, there's a few things that the Beetlejuice Archway has over this design, but this design has over the Beetlejuice Archway is the price. Absolutely. They were the same starting price, 200 in the first place, but BJ's of course marked it down to 140, and I absolutely love that price. But overall, a solid 9 out of 10 is a great overall score for this one. But overall, there's my thoughts on this brand new for 2024 Halloween inflatable, 16.5 feet wide, 11.8 feet tall, Haunted Tree Archway inflatable being sold exclusively at BJ's this year. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.